I'm still laughing about it. Hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And today I would like to introduce one of my students to you, Miss D. And D today is going to share her point of view from actually being a student inside of my program at the moment. So thank you so much, D, for tuning in today and taking the time to hop on for me and answer some questions.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So same as with Anna, before we dive into the actual content and into the actual course, I'd like to ask you a few questions about your time before you entered the course. Yeah. So when you were, when you started to think about creating an online course, why was it important for you to dedicate your energy towards this?
I've always thought about doing an online course for years, but it was, it's the enigma you don't know. And it seemed like it was such a task that I wasn't skilled enough for, honestly, because the tech part of it scared me, for starters. I felt that even if I knew my topic, how am I going to put it together? And it always seemed like it was a brick wall in front of me.
Okay. And how is it now? How do you feel now about the tech and the brick wall?
The tech hasn't gone away. There's still, some challenges to work through. But like going through this process with you at my side, so to speak, it's, I guess, mentally easier. Not that the pains have gone away, because it's still there. I still have to figure out how to use the softwares and all of that. But you've made it so easy in the sense that I now find myself thinking about, always the ease of what my students are going to feel. How are they going to do as I do this? It's not what's comfortable for me or what's easier for me to do, but what's the experience they're going to have. Mm-hmm. And I'm really grateful that you've been able to instill that in my head. So now my thoughts are, get the program right, get the experience right. The how will figure itself out.
So you already mentioned like it took you, my next question was going to be, how long did it take you to take action towards then enrolling into the program? And you said you've been thinking about it for years, right? So what made you go for it in that moment when you saw my offer coming up? Like, why was it now urgent for you? What was the thing? What drove you to like, okay, now I'm going to go for it?
I felt, it's like when I tell you don't look at the white car, all you see is white car everywhere, right? And so I started having this thought again at the beginning of the year. And, I'd been talking to a friend about, even in my previous business, I wanted to do a course. And it always seems like every time I talk to somebody about my business, they're like, to them, it feels like such a monumental task to go to a gluten and dairy-free diet. And I'm sitting over here going, what is the problem, right? And so I thought, well, there's definitely an opportunity for me to help people to do this. And so when I started doing this, I started noticing a lot of Facebook ads, and every place I'd go or every meeting I was in on Zoom, somebody was talking about my course about this and my course about that. And then I thought, well, you know what? I keep saying I'm going to do it and I don't get there. So I thought, I got to figure this out. And so am I going to wait again? And what am I waiting for? I don't even know. So, yeah. I just kind of came across your page. I literally read the entire page. So do I want to go there, right? So it's a challenge. There is no commitment. I'm just going to go through this and see what it's all about. But as I get through that registration for the challenge and your offer popped up, it took me a quick second and I thought, if I'm going to go for it, I'm going to go all in. Awesome. Like, there's no point turning back halfway, because then do I know the full experience?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And what's the worst that could happen? Well, I don't create the course. You know, I've got that option, but I've learned. I grow within myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at it as an investment in developing me, aside from the course at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's kind of why I just did it.
yeah, yeah. And how do you feel right now going through the program? So people out there who are watching Dia's right now, she's enrolled in my program. She hasn't finished yet. We are in week 4 right now. So how do you feel now going through the program?
The program was, honestly, it thoroughly impressed me, is what I can say. And I think this is where my hiccups were, is everybody talks about, or a lot of people in a lot of industry, right? Everybody tells you the glory, the look at the 5 digits I've done, look at the 100,000 I've made in just a matter of months, look at what I've been doing. But the reality is, what are the pain points? What is the true reality of how many 14-hour days you've put in to make this work? You know, what is the true reality of, you know, you in the middle of a launch and all the systems crash on you? You know, what's the reality of you, you know, having invested a ton of money, which I can speak to because I've just been there developing my line of product with a huge investment, I will tell you, and COVID hits, right? And so you're, what now? So honestly, after coming through the experience of putting all the money and the time and the investment behind developing my product, and it came to a screeching halt, this was a drop in the bucket for me in terms of time and energy and you know, investment. But I was learning, and that's what my biggest I guess piece was, is that I would learn something I didn't know. Because in the meanwhile, I've got no markets to take my product to. And so this was like, okay, the next thing that I could keep myself occupied with, and at the same time, learn how to do the next thing that I want to do.
Mm-hmm. What did you like the most about the program so far?
What did I like the most? Honestly, I can't pick one thing. There are so many really good nuggets you've got in there. Couple things that stood out to me is how your ability to logically talk to a brain like mine. Because some people are more creative, you know, right brain than they are left. I think I come from left first and I kick right in. Mm-hmm. And it's just probably been my life training and my, you know, 2 decades in corporate and making sure it's a business and the numbers work before I go play and make it pretty. So I resonate with the fact that you took the time to look at how is someone going to make this work from a sustainable standpoint, not just go make your course, then what, right? I mean, your promise was that you'd sell the course before you make it, and which is your big platform in promoting the whole program you're offering. But beyond that, it was not just that you showed me how to make the course. You know, you've also talked to me about the tech behind what happens with the course. And so I'm not done creating the course by any stretch of the imagination, but I am finding myself focusing on making sure, as you can see the board behind me, is mapping out, you know, what happens to my website, what happens to Shopify, what happens to my transaction from an email standpoint. How is this all going to come together and work for me, not just now with this course, but long term.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. What was it that was unexpected that came up when you went through the course? What surprised you the most going through the program?
I will say two things. First was I knew my customer or my consumer, either. Like I knew who my target was as I developed products and as I attempted to do this course. I knew the group of people that I wanted to talk to. I could see their pain point. I could understand where they're coming from, having an allergen myself. I could, you know, I can comfortably design something that deals with their pain point. What impressed me the most, or what stood out the most from a course perspective, was really you pushing back real hard, which was really good because it brought so much clarity, you know, in that the most important thing I find is not the course, it's not how the tech works, it's not here's the entire step by step, but it's more who am I talking to? And I must be absolutely crystal clear about that. And in now that I know exactly who, what's my one message to them? So that I'm not all over the place. So you really zone in and hone that point home, like not just with me, but I see it through the other consultation groups you did, in that, you know, other people were struggling with this as well. And you really took it to a point. And, you know, the second thing was your ability to really push the student. I would use the term loosely, almost to a breaking point, when they've really had to search themselves to kind of go, wait a second, what is my message to the person who's going to be buying my course? And so it's that, you know, tug of war, but a beautiful tug of war that brought so much clarity that it made it so much easier after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because it's one of the most important things. And so many people quickly overlook it in their rush and in their enthusiasm, which is also good and passion and everything, but they just want to dive in and get it done. But yeah, if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. And I'm glad you see that as valuable, because it is one of the most valuable things for sure. And not just for courses, for every product you create ever out there, right? For coaching programs, for any product really. So it's a very good skill to understand and take away. Awesome. What has it done for you for now, or the program? What has it done for your life or business, or how will your life or business change through it?
Really, the only thing it's done so far is kind of really gave me clarity about my message. It's given me the confidence in my head, let's say, through the research I've done, to know that there's an ability for what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. You know, there's definitely people who are interested in what I'm doing. So I was able to gain that clarity, that comfort zone, to know that I wasn't wasting my time creating a program that no one was looking for. And, you know, going forward, I mean, I don't know where my product business is going to go given our economic conditions, but going forward, you know, as myself, you know, including everyone else who is jumping online and they're wanting to learn online, attend meetings online, grow my business online. I hope that, you know, you and I are going to have a long-term relationship in fostering this, so that I am able to enter this space and age of, you know, the online market. You know, and even if it's not about me shipping products, well, can I teach you how to make your own products? Right? There's just, I feel I've done a lot of different things in my life, and I feel like I've got some things to offer. So I hope that, you know, this course will be a stepping stone, if you will, to what I can do to grow my business in a lot of other directions.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. What are 3 more benefits you could name from going through the course so far?
Benefits. First, I would say is commitment. You know, not just committed to getting the course done and doing the course, but there are some decisions that, you know, as a course creator, that you've got to make. And it's sometimes, or a lot of times, we get caught in, you know, the price point. and what is, the cheaper option. And it is a valid concern from a lot of perspectives, especially in this economic time when more people are not generating extra income. So you do have to think about, okay, what am I doing and how am I doing? But it's, one of the big benefit that came through for me is you really stopping, listening to where I was at in my business and with my business, and, helping me to get to a point where I can plan for long term. Like it wasn't just about doing the course. There were so many different pieces. There are things like, a benefit is really, I would say, listen to yourself. When you find or you resonate with someone who sees the vision for you, even when you don't see it for yourself, it's very important for that. I see that there was a need for what I'm offering. I see that there was a lot of people I could help or get to that phase of where I'm at, to get up in the morning and know that I've got choices for breakfast. I'm not stunned. I'm tired eating eggs. What am I going to? I don't have that issue, Dinner comes around and I basically, open the fridge. I never plan a menu. I open the fridge, but I can tell you every single day I have something different for dinner, right? And so it's how do you get there easily and comfortably? And so, you're the benefit of you kind of being there, guiding me, but not hand holding me. You know what I mean? It's it's like, I didn't feel smothered or, well, Tina said to do, so I must do. You allowed me the space and time to make the decision as to what was right for me. But if you saw that I was steering off in a direction that wasn't going to benefit me, you nicely reined me in.
Interesting you say that.
So that I kept on track.
Yeah. Someone else said the same thing today. Interesting.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's a good skill that you've got. I will say, I've watched all of the episodes with the other students. And let me say, by the way, it was totally, totally appreciated that you split us up into 2 groups because of time zones. I appreciate how much time and effort that takes to manage 2 different groups, but you were willing to do it. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Because otherwise, I'd have been up at midnight trying to make it to that group, and there was no way my eyes would have stayed opened or that I would have taken in half of what you were saying anyways.
You're very welcome. So, would you recommend this service or program to others? And if so, why?
Oh my God, that's not even a question. That's not even a question. If I had to do this over again, I would still do it just as quickly as I did before and probably quicker. I appreciate the person who was, have never gone through a program like this or whatever, or you're thinking about it like I was for years, and there's the tech piece that intimidates you or whatever it is. I would say, now that I've started on that path, my God, everything is figure-outable, as Marie Forleo would say, right? Yeah. You can figure everything out, and you just need to start. And I'm really appreciating the concept of progress over perfection, right? It's just get there. I may not make all the right decisions right in the beginning in terms of which platforms I'm going to use, what my programs are going to be, how, but I'm going to make a start. And as I get there and I start to evolve and I understand the issues that I am facing, I'll figure out how to evolve to the next level. But I would say, like, just jump in and, do not jump in hesitantly. Go and go forth. You've got a lot of skill as a coach, as an instructor, as an educator, that would really, really benefit just about anybody. Like I've watched you with Shirley, I've watched you with Ed, I've watched you with, Anna and myself, and it's like completely different dynamics, completely different coaching skills you've had to reach for, completely different mentoring progress, if you will, for each of us. And yet you were still able to keep it together as a cohesive group. So honestly, I would say, you know, I've done a lot of courses over my lifetime, and I mean a lot of courses, you know, with everybody from the Tony Robbins to, you know, a lot of big names. And a lot of times when you're buying course from someone you don't know, you never know what you're going to get. In this case, I would say, your course is definitely among the cream of the crop.
Oh.
Like there's so much I've learned, and it's the content itself. I appreciate that it was well thought of. I felt the sense of you trying to reach me through this content. It's almost like you really did deliver on the message you were preaching to us about think about our end user and their experience and what they're going to have. And I felt that you really put that into this course. Like watching the lessons, I probably did it oddly than everybody else because I just went through and, looked at all the content before I started doing anything on each lesson, because I needed to wrap my head around what was I going to have to do and what were the pain points that I would encounter, so that then I knew how to ask the questions when we meet, or how to then go post it on our community board, or then kind of let it mull over for a couple of days and I get it because of something else Tina has said to someone else, or if I really stumbled and couldn't get to it, then you and I would chat about it. So I mean, there's so many reasons why someone should get into this course. If you're starting out the first time and you're going to pay for any course, I would highly recommend this course. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
Awesome. Oh, make blush.
Don't. You've been amazing, and I'm really glad that I made that decision when I did.
Awesome. I'm so glad you are in the group as well, honestly.
I mean, long before I started, you and I have been chatting, and I said to you, I started creating my course because, I felt like I knew my topic. I knew what I was going to do. I knew who I was speaking to and all this jazz. But, you were able to communicate to me clearly and succinctly, and, from as I said, a logical standpoint, in that you're creating this course, but you have nobody to sell it to. And that was really a wake-up call for me to kind of go, yeah, so then what, right? And so, that was an easy kind of decision for my left brain thinking to kind of go, well, yeah, the numbers don't add up here, Dee, like what? Now, there's still a lot that I need to do to get to the point of selling the course. But, I feel very confident that between you and I, we're going to get there. So
sure, absolutely, 100%. Next week or the week after, depending on your progress.
I've actually done really good. So
yeah, you have.
I think so, anyways.
Indeed, definitely.
Yes.
If you were to jump on a time machine and travel back and talk to your past self, meaning before you joined the program, what would you tell yourself?
The only one question I would ask myself is, what are you waiting for, Dee? Because honestly, I've thought about this in, as I said, in my previous profession. I wanted to do this. I love educating. I was actually educating real life with hairdressers. And so, I know that I enjoy that forum, if you will. But I couldn't figure out how to do it online because I didn't have what I think is the techie background, or I wasn't computer trained. You know, I don't build websites of my own and all that jazz. And you would have to get, you know, help. But with help comes a price tag as well. So, you know, it always seemed like it was a hurdle. So, I mean, if anything, I would say to myself is just hurry up and get there already, because there's so much more you can do after the fact, you know?
Yeah. Awesome. 2 more questions. What would you say to someone who is still on the fence and not sure if he or she should enroll?
First of all, there is no fence. You know, the challenge is in your own mind, right? You create your own barriers. That's my thoughts anyways. You know, every obstacle that show up, it's because I think it's an obstacle, right? It's like I'm going to call you and say, Tina, I see a problem in how I'm going to manage this, and I don't know how to connect this from here to there and there and there. And you just kind of looked at me and went, Dee, but that's easy. Just go to Zapier and we'll connect this to this. You know, and it's that. So if you're kind of sitting there, lingering, wondering, you know, it's a day of your life. It's years of your life. Now, I don't have regrets not doing this course earlier, because I've done so many other things, right? But it's always lingered in the back of my mind. And so I think, you know, there is real estate space there that this course has taken up for years that I could have put to use on something a whole lot more productive, or doing the things I was doing a little more productive than I did. You know, because when you're always thinking about it, it's just energy being used up there. And for what, right?